Hello and welcome to Take It to the Max on the day, where there's a huge game between Manchester United and Arsenal. And of course, on the day that, well, maybe not the day was Friday, but on the day that most games were played for Zambia because the Zambian League is back on. Exciting times, Maria.
Exciting, very exciting times. We saw another exciting one this afternoon, NAPSA versus Zesco. Yeah. It had to be in the nick of time for NAPSA to probably survive that one and settle for a goal, a draw game at 1-1.
Okay. Also, very shortly, we will be talking to the communications manager for FAS to bring us up to speed, because there's word going around. I think it's public domain now that I think football Minister of Sports has agreed to the fact that FAS can return, but there are a couple of conditions there, like 10 days or something to that effect. So Sydney will be telling us exactly what's happening there, because imagine that next weekend is a possibility huge that maybe fans could now trip to the stadium. That would be something, man. But
that would be great.
We'll be confirming that very shortly. But for now, maybe let's just maybe also talk about Patson Daka.
Yeah, picking up an injury during his team's 3-2 defeat to Atletico Madrid. He sustained this injury on Tuesday. We know that it was the Champions League fixture against the Atletico Madrid of Spain. Hard luck. We hope it doesn't keep him out for a long time.
Yeah,
because he's been banging on the goals. Yes. We want him to really continue doing that.
And also, well, I think it's known that he's definitely not going to play for the Zambian national soccer team. You know, when Zambia does take on Botswana, that one is definitely out. So really, really rather sad. That's the time. He did a back heel, actually, at the time in the 18 area. And, you know, I think it was 40th minute somewhere there. And next thing, you know, he was on the ground and he was being taken away. And from what we know, he's definitely not going to be playing. He's not even playing against Bayern Munich. That must be.
Oh, gosh.
Because, you know, at times, that's the only chance. It's possible that the next 5 years, 6 years, they will never play Bayern Munich, you know. So really, I'm thinking he's really, really crushed. It's sad for the young, you know, player, that he'll miss the Bayern Munich game. He'll play other games for Zambia, but the Bayern Munich one, I'm sure he would have loved to play in that particular game.
Yeah, I think for now we just wish Patson a quick recovery from that groin injury. Hopefully he gets better very, very, very pretty soon. Okay.
All right. Okay. And also maybe in the process we can talk a bit about, you know, back home. First of all, maybe let's also make mention that Mwepo had a stellar of a game in the middle of the pack. I think it was nice to see him compete. Really.
I think Mwepo has been above average consistent when it comes to his performance with this club, which is very good for him, because for now he has to be consistent, and if he can even be better than what he's doing, would be good.
Yeah, definitely. So you know, Mwepo will definitely be making the team for Zambia. I'm sure that when that time comes, because he's obviously very, very fit and playing. And what I like is that he and Patson were rested in a particular game because they knew they were playing Atletico Madrid. So it tells you that they are first team players. That can only be a good news for Zambia. Anyways, Coach Mitchell says, well, without Patson, obviously it's a blow, but he feels that, well, we've got the players. The friendly matches definitely did help.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we do this though. We maybe go on a break, even as we get ready to talk to Sydney after the break. Alrighty, welcome back. This is Take It to the Max. And now, like we said, we will be talking to Sydney, the FAS communications manager, to just find out from him, you know, about what is currently circulating as to whether fans, the chances of fans coming to the various stadia is just about now, you know. What's the news that is going around? Can he confirm or whether that is the case or not? So let's see if we can get a hold of Sydney. Hello, Sydney.
Yes, Innocent, and good afternoon, viewers.
Good afternoon to you. Now, Sydney, firstly, I know you're watching the game between Zesco and NAPSA. NAPSA obviously being the home side. How was that game for you?
Well, it was an interesting game. Obviously, a lot was expected. Remember, NAPSA Stars are the country's representatives in the CAF Confederation Cup, so we expect that this was going to give us an indication of how prepared they are for those assignments. And Zesco United, obviously, they've made a number of signings going into this season. We've seen the arrival of Bruce Msakanya, Kelvin Kampamba, among others, and of course, they were also expected to showcase the spirit within which they are going into this season. So that's how that game was expected to pan out, and it lived up to the expectation. Zesco obviously going forward early, we threw a Clement Mwampe header, and NAPSA left it very late to equalize through Lodit Mavugo, who is a Zimbabwean national. It was a very exciting game, obviously, and we hope that going forward we expect more sparks as the league progresses. So it summed up a very good afternoon. Obviously, despite it being played behind closed doors, we had a good time. There were a few officials from Zesco, a few officials from FAS, the referees, and also obviously the team technical benches. So it was a good atmosphere despite the game being played behind closed doors.
Okay, all right. I know we're talking to you on phone, but I'm with Maria Banda here, and we're both excited and wondering whether the news that's filtering through is true as to whether there's a possibility, huge possibility now, of fans being able to watch these matches that are taking place.
Well, the good news is obviously that the Minister of Sport, Honorable Emmanuel Mulenga, did give a pronouncement last week on Wednesday that he had directed his staff to liaise with the Minister of Health and also FAS to finalize the protocols that have been put in place to ensure that a number of fans may be allowed in stadia during the league matches. So there has been a working committee prior to this particular pronouncement where the Minister of Health, FAS, and the Minister of Sport were working together. So that is a document that we are expected to finalize, and we are expected that we're expecting that the Minister of Health will come back to us and give us a go-ahead, because they are the only ones who have the authority to actually allow the fans into the stand. So hopefully in the next few days, obviously 10 days started from Wednesday, we should be able to make a pronouncement, because we are also keeping an eye on the international game between Zambia and Botswana. We're hoping that we'll be allowed to have fans in the stadium for that particular fixture.
But, okay, I see you waiting for the Minister of Health to get back to you. Are we ready, as far as, are you ready to be able to allow our spectators to come through the stadium?
Of course, we've been engaging the clubs through the team doctors and also the administrators to ensure that the health protocols that have been circulated to all the members are followed. Remember, we have a working agreement with the Zambia Medical Association in terms of what we should do as we administer some of these games. So we hope that our members will stick to the guidelines and ensure that once that go-ahead is given, there should be no room to actually lapse to ensure that maybe that privilege can be taken away from us. So we are confident that everyone will stick to the guidelines that have been circulated.
Okay. Anyway, finally, there was always that story that doesn't seem to end, where FAS has to have this meeting with people that want answers with FIFA. I know that was put off. What's the scenario there?
Well, I think that meeting has been postponed now for 2 consecutive times. But the background is that for this meeting to take off, all the parties that are supposed to take place in this meeting should log in. So twice the Minister of Sport has been on site, logged in their credentials. The National Sports Council has been on site, logged in their credentials. And on our end as far as we've twice logged in for that particular meeting. But the other party, who are the aggrieved parties, have twice not been able to actually provide details. This time around, for this particular round of meeting, they were not agreed on the 3 people that are supposed to attend that meeting. So they kept going back and forth without providing those details. They only provided those details 24 hours before the meeting was due to take place, and it was very difficult for FIFA to convene this meeting. Remember, FIFA are the ones who are supposed to preside over this meeting. So as far as we are concerned, everything is into the hands of FIFA. They've given a last-minute chance to ensure that next week after Tuesday, or this week actually, after Tuesday, the meeting should be able to take place, and this is subject to all the parties actually cooperating in the process preceding to the meeting. So we are hopeful that everyone will come to the party, and the meeting should be able to take off this week.
All right, Sydney, thank you very much. We're obviously very interested in that meeting taking place because we really would love for you as fans to just get down and just deal with football because there's so much happening now. Zambia needs to win games. We need to get back in contention. And I think this can be a bit of a disruption, especially that it's not ending. It seems to be an unending story. So we hope that will be sorted out come next week. But thank you very much. And, you know, so far, congratulations on the league's reopening. And so far, so good. The games seem to be going on very, very well. And, yeah, we'll be catching up with you again later, Sydney.
Okay, thank you very much, and have a very good evening.
Thank you. All right, so that's Sydney there, Mungala, the communications manager for FAS, just bringing us up to speed with the league, that the league is back, and there's a lot that's been going on. But even before we go on our final break, maybe let's just go to what? Did I say final break? No, break. Let's just find out what else has been happening, Maria.
Okay, so we talk about tennis now, where the Ess Bee Sports, together with the Zambia Tennis Association on Sunday, honored the first indigenous Zambian president of the association, Maxwell Sichula, during the national championship, which was held in Lusaka at Lusaka Club. Over 200 tennis players turned up for the event, and our memory Malisawa covered the event and has this report for us.
Zambia Tennis Association, in conjunction with Ess Bee Sports, held a National Tennis Independence Championship which attracted over 200 players from across the country. The two-day event took place at Lusaka Club from 25th to 26th October 2020. The event had 4 categories: the under-12, under-14, under-16 and under-18. Current women national champion Natasha Chewe scooped the under-16 category after beating her clubmate Natasha Nalungwe 6-2, 6-2. The 16-year-old Mflira-based says hard work has paid off.
I feel proud of myself. I feel lucky because it's not easy for anyone to be a champion at this tender age. So I could like to encourage myself to be working hard, also to be strong, and also to keep on working hard and training very hard so that no one can beat me.
The participants, among them Bupe Liani, were excited to be part of the event.
It's a very nice sport, tennis. It teaches us certain skills we might need later.
Bupe's father, Kaputo Liani, who was at the event supporting his child, has advised other parents to encourage their children to do sports.
It helps us bond. You know, it helps us be in an informal setup, chat, encourage them, and by doing that, they are growing mentally and you are becoming close to them.
Tournament chairperson Gibson Peary now highlights the significance of the tournament.
Yeah, the Ess Bee Sport tournament is a national championship, that we started last year. It's meant to honor people who have contributed to the development of tennis in the country, as well as also trying to pick out the best players in the country and see how we'll be able to help them in terms of sponsorship and trying to get them scholarships to the US of A.
At the end of the event, former Lawn Tennis Association of Zambia chairperson Maxwell Sichula, who is also former National Sports Council of Zambia chief, was bestowed with an honorary life presidence by the Zambia Tennis Association. Memory Malisawa, ZNBC Sports, Lusaka.
So much memory for that report, and should I say congratulations, or should I say thank you so much to Mr. Sichula for his contribution not only to tennis but I think to sports in general in this country. But also I'll not forget to say congratulations to Natasha for winning the under-16. Very proud of you. Continue being good, girl.
All right, we do this, we'll go on a break. When we get back, we'll be talking what's happening in the English Premier League and also what's happening back home. The Zambian Premier League is back. Alrighty, welcome back. Take it to the maxes where you're at, and now we're getting into what's happening now. The excitement that is in the air. The Zambian League is back, and teams were celebrating. Some of them maybe not celebrating. After winning the Shield, Next thing, they lose Nkana Football Club. That was a surprise result. Nsama. I really didn't think Nkana was going to lose. But Forest, man, you can never write them off. Nsama.
At the end of 90 minutes, a game can be summed up that Nkana lost to a better team. Forest playing a 4-3-3 formation, very strong at the back. And in midfield, very, very mobile. They looked dangerous every time they went forward. And you can say the scoreline did flatter Nkana a bit because Forest were that dominant. They could have even scored 3 or 4 goals. But from Nkana, meanwhile, the defense at times was all over the place. And Mbombo was a marked man. And looks like they didn't have a plan B. I think they need to get Sate back into that side. And in midfield, they started with 2 defensive-minded players, Abuya and Chulu, the new signing from Kaiser. Ahead of them, Patrick Gondwe. I think they need an out-and-out central attacking player. Otherwise, Nkana need to regroup. I believe in midweek it's Lumwana up next, and they need to respond.
Okay, I was going to say though of Nkana that maybe they're missing Kampamba. You know, he's off to Zesco now. I think he was the fulcrum of the team. He's always up and down, always dead ball situations. Don't you think he too was missed?
Well, yes, to a certain degree, but I think Nkana have more problems defensively than in an attacking sense. But again, I do agree with you that Kelvin Kampamba would have given them something extra, but defensively I think they need to sort themselves out.
Maybe I need to remind you, gentlemen, that Forest is not an easy team, is not a weak team. They are actually a very good team. It has not been a fluke with the results that Forest has been.
Oh, that's why
if you remember my point
right.
to Forest Rangers when you asked me what I thought, surely they're going to be on the top 6 teams still this season. And it's not a team that you think you're going to go to Forest and get your 3 points easily.
No, but actually Nkana was at home.
No, I'm just saying Forest. It's not a team that Forest is not a team that I think you're going to go either home or away
and
think you're going to beat them up. You have to be ready. You have to be prepared.
Okay. All right. Let's look at some of the other games. Zanaco in Deni. Zanaco showing dominance. Some people could have judged them on the preseason, but now that the games are on for real, they're showing their mental.
Well, it's a statement. It's a statement of intent. They have hit the ground running. They have hit the ground running with a win. 3 points, very, very important, and they know that they have to re-establish their reputation in Zambian football. And even though, to a certain degree, we can say that they are a work in progress, but I'm sure going forward, they're going to be very, very convincing and ruthless as well.
Okay. We should mention Chisamba looks as usually very fit.
Oh, he looks fit, man. He looks like he means business. So yeah, Coach Micho might have to look at this other side of Zanaco and see. I'm sure he hasn't seen him much play, but yeah, he looks like he was in good form. Even that photo earlier where there's the celebrations, you can see that they're looking at Chisamba. Most likely was part of the creation. But anyway, good for Zanaco. Buffaloes, Red Arrows, this was always going to be a tight affair, and 0-0 was the scoreline. Is it a fair result, you think?
Fair result, but Arrows had the better game. But sometimes there will be games where you play well, but you don't get a result. We know Red Arrows did sideline a couple of senior players. Now they've brought in players who have to adjust and adapt very quickly. But again, James Chamanga will be the leading light. He will be the talisman yet again. And for Buffaloes, who did look impressive in preseason, I think they need to put the act together. Okay.
All right. Maybe now BuiltCon up against Lusaka Dynamos. 0-0 was the scoreline. A lot has been said about Lusaka Dynamos because they seemingly they lost a couple of players. They were not bringing in players. Now, all of a sudden, Chabula is with the team and he's on fire right now. Yeah. And they've brought in another player, Sam.
Yes, Combe has joined from
NAPSA.
From NAPSA, and
wow, that's a good
they're
buy.
Killing NAPSA.
That's a good buy.
Obviously, that means going forward, more chances will be created, and obviously, the BuiltCon came at the weekend, it wasn't easy for Biltcon because their coach left in unclear and confirmed circumstances. The team was taken over by Boydum Luanda, and you can say Biltcon did put a decent game of it, but South Dynamos gave as good as they got, considering it was an away game.
And quickly, maybe we look at the other game was Power Dynamos managing to beat young Green Eagles by a 1-0, as well as the Cowboy game, quite one of the very interesting games we saw. Disappointing
for Warriors that they've started the campaign with a loss, but kudos to Eagles because that result means that they're going to challenge now for the title, even though we know they are a top 4 team. And again, the other game is Power Dynamos. Difficult first half on the evidence of it, but Power Dynamos ran out 1-0 winners, even though it wasn't easy. But football is like that. Sometimes the game will be difficult, but you still have to go over the line.
Okay, now let's move on to the English Premier League. Games seem to be difficult for Liverpool. They're always coming from behind.
Everton.
But they're winning.
Everton's games, 2 games in a row.
Yeah,
I think the games are getting very difficult. Zama, is it what is supposed to be of Everton, or now is actually the real Everton?
Well, Everton, what I can say is they're not used to being in the top 2, top 3, top 4.
So they're getting back to where they belong.
Yes. So I think it's a clear, results don't lie. I've never been convinced by that Colombian defender, Yeremina.
But
and again, Pickford, in most games, he's been one of the weak spots in that team. So going forward, Everton are looking very good, the likes of Rodriguez, Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, but in defense they're not good enough. And to have a strong title challenge, you need a very, very strong defense. And at the moment, question marks for Evertonians.
Well, Liverpool are struggling defensively. Obviously, Van Dijk out, Fabinho out, who was replaced, direct replacement, and now they're going down, but they're still winning the games. The mark of a great team, son.
Well, everyone knows how good Liverpool are, but defensively, the loss of Van Dijk and what's the other Fabinho, the midfield, and Matip is also on the injury list. So basically, Liverpool defense, no wonder there's talk of them bringing in reinforcements in January. But Diogo Jota is the man up front. He can't stop scoring.
Okay, so Aston Villa coming, well, they were losing 4-0. The game ended 3-4. So yeah, they've got quite a fighting spirit. But let's talk about very quickly, Nsama, in just about 30 seconds, the game that is starting now. Arsenal up against Manchester United at home to Arsenal.
Well, United will start as clear favourites, and you just don't know which Arsenal will show up.
Okay, well, that was pretty quick. Well, thank you very much, Zambia Chisupa. We are all rushing to watch that big game. But Chelsea did well, you know.
Yeah, as usual, we're very unpredictable.
Okay, all righty. Thank you very much for joining us. Like we always say,
take it to the max.